Okay, welcome to Westgate Block Watch. I'm Tasha Corson, your Block Watch coordinator. We have Officer Brian Newsom, our 19th Precinct Liaison Officer. It's going to be kind of short tonight because we had some things that were happening that we wanted to do a fun thing, but we decided to go ahead and niche it because we're running out of time. So now that we've welcomed you, I'm going to give it over to Brian a little bit. So he's going to talk about some of the updates, some of the spring crimes and things to look out for, a little bit about the personal safety. What else? Let's see here. So I'm just going to go ahead and let you start with that, and then I'll come back and finish what business there is.
So I pulled up the stats for a few different crimes, obviously in the Westgate area, since January 1st of this year. So roughly almost 2 months worth of stats for Westgate. So in that time frame, we've had 12 car break-ins, and this is basically the map of Hague to Wilson, Broad to Sullivan. So that's our area here in Westgate. So we've had 12 car break-ins. We've had 12 burglaries. And of those burglaries, 4 of those 12 were garage burglaries. 2 were attempts where they never got in. 1 was a church, and then the other 5 were houses. So that tells us, especially those garage ones, that they're looking for items that they can get rid of easily. And if your garage door, or a garage is easy because most of them aren't alarmed. They're separated from the house in the neighborhood, and they can get in and out at night or when you're at work. So those, I thought that was interesting that of the 12, that a third of them were to garages. So we've had 12 vandalisms. Now I didn't go in to see if it was flat tires or busted windows or what, but we did have 12 vandalizing crimes in the month. And then the last one, or actually 13 stolen cars in Westgate. 5 of them have been over in the apartments over here on Dara right here. At those apartments, we've had 5 of the 13 were stolen out of there. But I can tell you this, that number is small compared to the precinct. The rest of the precinct, I counted it up, have had over 60 cars stolen in less than 2 months. And I'd venture to say that 80 to 85% of those were cars being warmed up in the morning. I can tell you. We had one over here yesterday over on Roy's that was stolen, that was warming up. Most of them are north of Broad Street, east of Hague. And there are a group of kids that are stealing them, and they will steal them if they're running. So I've put it out on Nextdoor. Do not leave your car unattended warming up in the morning. I know it's one of those things, you want to warm it up before you get ready to leave, but they are stealing them like crazy. We had 7 in 15 minutes one morning. 7. A group of them were in a stolen car. They drop each other off at different cars, and we could see where they were going because we get another one, there it is, and we get another one, and we know the route they were taking because that's where they were dropping their buddies off of to steal the next car. So please, please don't let your car run in the morning unattended. Either sit in it, if you have an automatic start, I'd still make sure the doors are locked. And then the last one, we did have 1 felonious assault, and that was over in the apartments as well. So there's a couple people got stabbed over in the apartments. But other than that, we haven't had those kind of issues. We don't really have in Westgate. And I thought, that the stolen cars were a little high too, but we're also talking on the fringe. Some of those were on Hague and Powell, which is close to West High School where the kids go. We've recovered a few cars sitting in a lot right next to each other at West, so that were stolen. So they're just taking a ride to school, dumping them right there in the parking lot. So that brings me to, we were going to talk about spring crimes. Do you want to?
Yeah, it was more of the personal safety and what to do to get out and meet your neighbors is one of the things that I had. Us as the Westgate Block Watch, we're going to be out and about, but we're going to post it on our website. We're going to have on our green t-shirts with our logo on them, so you'll know, and we'll post it, you'll know that we're coming in your neighborhood or on your street, because we want to meet everybody. We want everybody to get out and about. We're going to be at the Westgate Neighbors Association meetings. We're going to be at the Farmers Market. We're going to be out at Westgate Park. So if ever you see anybody with the green, excuse me, Block Watch shirts on, come up and talk to us. Tell us what's going on so we can write it down. And if it's something that's really pertinent, then we're going to pass Brian's information off to you. So we can keep the crime down, since it's pretty much down right now. And thank you for that. Oh, I'm excited about it. I want you to tell them the story of Sylvan. Okay, so so Post to the Park, connecting to the park. Okay, so daylight savings time is going to be April the 8th. So remember to change your batteries. This is just little housekeeping stuff. Change your things in your smoke detector. We're going to do the video that we've been posting every 2 weeks. We're going to change that to every 2 to 4. And the reason why is because we're doing it for when you're available, for Brian's availability. And we're volunteers here, so we have lives outside of Block Watch too. You know, we're raising kids and doing things. So it'll be every 2 to 4 weeks, so keep checking on the website. And then post. If there's something that's happening on your street, post it on our website. There's a tutorial at westgateblockwatch.com that you can get on there and register, right? And sign up. And who?
Blockwatch.org.
Blockwatch.org. I apologize. I should have known that. So, anybody want to speak up and say something about what is it called? How do we call that? The notification system that we have for the Blockwatch. You don't have to get up and do if you don't want to. Just say it out loud, because everything's
Might as well.
okay. And my daughter Heather, of course.
All right. Hi, everyone. I am the Zone 5 captain, her daughter. Just briefly, when it comes to the website, we want to start utilizing that more. So if you see anything, have any information posted to the website, first you have to register and get approved, but then after that you can post anything, and then you can sign up for alerts. So you can get email alerts, texts, correct? Sent directly to you as soon as something is posted.
Phone call.
And phone calls too. Yeah, that's also an option. So sign up for that. Yeah.
And again, we don't have everything that goes out on that notification system unless it is an emergency. So every time that you see a person walking down the street that you think is suspicious, you're not going to find it. Only if it's really important are we going to send all that information out. Okay, we were going to describe the training of a suspicious person. I'll let you do a little bit on what you think the radio room is looking for, but we've got this sheet that we started. It's a suspect vehicle description sheet. We're going to scan it and put it on the website so you know. But Brian's going to talk a little bit about how to describe.
Basically being a good witness.
Being a good witness.
Because that's the most important thing when you see something like that or a suspicious person. We want you to be a good witness. Heaven forbid, the last thing you try to do is confront somebody that you think may be up to something, and then next thing you know, you're facing looking at a gun or a knife or something over something where it could have been just nothing but a piece of property they were after. So being a witness, obviously, is the most important thing. So I will tell you this, a lot of times when we ask people to look for characteristics or identification on everybody, the thing that you want to look for are things that would stand out, like red shoes or a camo hat or something that is very distinctive that the normal person, you couldn't go and take 5 people in the same room and they'd all be wearing the same thing. They'd be the odd man out. So we want things like that. Cars, like damaged bumper, damaged donut wheels, damaged doors, bumper stickers, window stickers, things that would make it look different than just a regular car driving down the street. Those kind of things, because that really helps us. Like yesterday with the car stolen, they aired the description of it, and the only thing I could remember was the Pope sticker on the side door. And I'm like, all I need to look for is the Pope sticker, and I know I'm going to find this car. So things like that, you know, if it's got whatever, a sticker on it, it's one of those things. If you can get any of that stuff, if you can always get a license plate, that's because sometimes that's hard because you're trying to concentrate on what you're seeing, and then the last thing you're like, I didn't get the plate number. You want to, if you get anything, get the color of the car and the plate number, and that way we can go from there on something like that. Clothes-wise, baggy clothes or dirty clothes, hats, any kind of hats. If they got facial hair, things like that that stand out that we'd be looking for. So it's real important, because radio will ask you, our dispatchers will ask you, what do they look like? Were they driving a car? And it's important that if you don't get it right or you don't have much information, then we don't have a lot to go on. If you just say, well, it was a white guy, he was in a, I think it was a gray car. I mean, it's one of those things that we'll be driving around all day looking for them. If you can get half a tag, 2, 3 letters, numbers off the tag, that also helps us. If you can get that too. So those are some of the things we want you to look for if you are trying to call and report a crime or something. Those are the things we look for.
Tattoos are good too.
Tattoos are good, especially when they're all over the face.
Yes.
Because we got some guys rolling around here where their face is completely covered. So.
All right, so that's what to look for. And again, we'll have it posted on our website, and so you guys look at it, and we'll have, the next meeting that we have, depending on the attendance, we will have a little game that we're gonna play. So our next meeting is gonna be, our upcoming events. This is National Night Out, but for Westgate, it's gonna be Tuesday, August 4th at Westgate Park. And we've decided to call it Westgate Safety Fest. So it's also hand in hand with National Night Out, and of course, Officer Newsom will be there, and so will the police department and the fire department and all that fun stuff. So National Night Out is where all the neighbors congregate together. You're supposed to open up your doors, shake hands over the fence, smile at your neighbor, get together, have a hot dog or a steak, and get to know. It's a night against crime. So the more that you know your neighbor, the more that you know just the people in your block, or 2 blocks, or 4 blocks away, it's easier to.
And it's also a time that it's a day of the building relationships between law enforcement and the communities they serve.
Yes.
So we all get to come out and actually talk to each other on a personal, just hanging out kind of thing. So it's one of those things that we enjoy those. I look forward to them every year because it's always a good time. You get to meet a lot of people in the neighborhood and make a lot of good contacts. So I'll be looking forward to it because we don't have too many over here on the hilltop. We've got one giant one every year, which I'll be there too. So now I have to split my time up, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So.
Westgate's the best gate, sorry, Lisa. Okay, so, let's see, our next meeting will be May the 14th, here at Emmanuel Baptist Church, from 7 to 8:30, and then, let's see, turn on your porch lights. At nighttime, when the lights go down, criminals do not like lights, so turn your porch lights on. If there's an opportunity for crime, or hold on, I said that wrong. Where there's an opportunity, there is crime. So please don't give criminals that opportunity. Keep yourself, your space cleaned up. Keep your
Most
lights on.
of us can minimize the crime that happens to us by doing simple things. I mean, really, you don't have anything in your cars that looks like it's something that somebody could steal. They're not going to mess with it. You have proper, you don't have bushes in front of your house that would hide somebody real well, where they could sneak around and do things at your house and you wouldn't know about it. It's good to keep everything light, well lighting, your doors secure. I tell everybody that one of the simplest things you can do with your doors, because most doors, when they're put in, they got those like 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch screws that go into the hinges there, into the door panel or the jambs. The first thing I do is go out and buy 2 inch, 2.5 inch ones, drill them deeper into the studs. That way, they can still probably get in, but they're gonna have to work a lot harder, and time is always on our side, because they don't wanna mess with it for too long. Because the longer they have to mess with it, the more chances they're gonna get caught. So, the little things like that, making sure that your windows are locked, don't give anybody the opportunity to take advantage of you. And then especially now, with spring, around the corner, when you're out doing yard work, we were talking about this earlier, if you're not in your garage and you're not somewhere where you can see your garage, keep the door down, because these guys are in these alleys and they're out there. If they can grab a weed eater, a chainsaw, some tools, whatever they can see, they're going to take it and they're going to go. So you can help yourself by doing those little things that make you less of a victim. So just, it's one of those things you start thinking about it like, well, I could do this, and you stand less a chance of being a victim.
I'll just run inside real quick and grab my phone or
Yep.
my phone charger or something and,
Sure.
Just like with the stolen cars.
leave it running, it's gone. Well, I really appreciate you, but I want you to tell the story of
Oh.
the person that you apprehended yesterday morning on Sylvan.
Oh, yesterday morning, it was before the regular officers, patrol officers they were at changeover. And we've had some issues over here lately, the last couple of days. There's some suspicious guys hanging around the neighborhood. So I came over, it was about 7:30, I was over here in the neighborhood. And, AM. And there was a call that came in about a guy that was looking in doors, or looking in windows and checking car doors and stuff. So I'm like, well, I'll head over there on Sylvan to look for him. So meantime, somebody I know gave me a call and said, hey, I saw you in the neighborhood. Are you looking for somebody? And I said, yeah, I'm looking for somebody who was down, looking in the cars and stuff. They said, well, they might have seen you because I saw them jumping fences and stuff. He said, they're heading back eastbound. So I'm like, all right. So I flipped back around, and a guy come up the way. He obviously didn't live in Westgate. He was real close to the front doors of the houses. So I jump out on him and got a screwdriver in his back pocket. Luckily, he was a wanted felon for a parole violation. But I can tell you this, he probably broke into a car or two, because he had pockets full of change and some other odds and ends that normal people just probably wouldn't be carrying around at night. But he also had 3 head flashlights on his property and 2 regular flashlights. So that tells me he's been out around the neighborhood all night. And so he went to jail yesterday. So I was just lucky enough to be in the right place.
Hang
And
around
then-
Westgate more often.
Well,
Catch
and
all of them.
last week,
We
I
will
was
be
lucky
crime
enough,
free.
I drove up I was at Southampton and Broad,
Okay.
and there's a Coda Park and Ride sitting there, where people drop off their cars and then they ride the bus. I was coming up through there and I saw some legs hanging out from the side of a car, and I'm like, what's going on there? So I pull in the parking lot, and sure enough, these 2 guys they had broken into 3 cars on the lot there. So, and the one guy has been wanted, he was wanted out of Arlington and Grandview for the same kind of stuff. So I think he had like 8 or 9 warrants for that. So those guys are over here. They're here. A lot of those guys that you see walking through the neighborhood with the backpacks on and things like that, especially at 7 o'clock in the morning, or they've probably been through your neighborhood all night. So if you see them doing something, call us, because 9 times out of 10, they're probably up to no good. And I know there was one last thing I wanted to talk about, was the Citizens Police Academy.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
So if anybody is interested, we have until I think it starts next Thursday, the Columbus Citizens Police Academy. So if anybody's interested in going through that, it runs from February 27th to May 14th. It's on Thursday nights from 6:30 to 9:30. You can email I'll give you the email address. You can email them to see if they're still accepting applications. And that email address is C as in Charles, P as in Paul, A as in Akron, at columbuspolice.gov. And you can email them and ask them if they're still accepting, and if so, you can go to the columbuspolice.gov site and go to the Citizens Police Academy. There's applications that you can actually, you can hit the link, and it'll
Print you off one.
show up the application you can fill out, and then you can send it right that way.
That's fabulous.
It's one of those things, if you've never done it and you're interested in, it really is, it's a wealth of knowledge that you may not have known, why the police do sometimes what they do, and you get to actually go and see our, academy, the academy that the taxpayers paid for, the horses, the canine, you get to ride along, you get to go to the forensic stuff. It's really a good time. I mean, you'll learn a lot, and you'll hopefully take away a little different perspective of what police work is about in the city of Columbus. So,
You get to go to the morgue.
yeah, you get to go more if that's something that you want to do.
Sure.
You look
So,
real excited.
yeah, sounds like there's a couple people that are excited about that.
She loves it.
I've been to the morgue a few times. I'm not very excited about it. And ultimately, one day I think we'll all be there, right?
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Well, I have one more thing of housekeeping to do. And if you have a Block Watch yard sign, please put them in your yard. And we're gonna come around and collect them. One of our people donated $300 to make 50 signs. So as of right now, we don't have them accounted for. So if you're asked to put a sign in your yard, and you forgot to, get it out and put it in your yard so I can come through, because I wanna hold some accountability. Somebody dug deep in their pockets to pay for these signs. So I'll be around to gather those. And then the last thing that I wanna talk about, we have Officer Newsom, who's going to be celebrating 25, double, 50 years of life. Yeah, he's going to turn the big 5-0 on the 26th of this month. So if you see him and he's out and about, tell him happy birthday,
Thanks.
okay? Yeah. I would have everybody sing happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're half of a century old.
Happy
Wow.
birthday to
To you, yeah. He's like, look how red his face is. All right. Well, I appreciate all you guys for hanging out and being here. And if you have any questions, Officer Newsom's,
Yeah, just email me or leave me a voicemail, 614-645-1419, or bnewsom@columbuspolice.org.
and again, get on the westgateblockwatch.org and register, post information that you have, and know that only in emergencies will you be sent out the out list. What is that? What do we call that? The information? See, I knew I'd mess it up. Okay, so anyway, that's the end of our Block Watch. So we'll see you on the 14th of May. Bye.